Early bird or night owl? Which one are you, and which one is more efficient? Stay tuned.
That's what we're going to be talking about today.
Absolutely.
Um,
So when it comes to efficiency, Kiera, I don't know about you, but to be honest, like it really depends on everyone's individuality and who is more active in what certain scenario, right? But I take a little bit of a different approach with it, right? Because I see it in more of a scientific way and more of a natural way of how us as humans are supposed to be functioning, right? And I always have analogies for these sort of conversations because of the fact that I come from like a science and technology sort of background and understand like which one is more efficient in a manner of what works best for everyone's brains, right? So for a long time, I've always been like a night owl during high school. It wasn't until I went to college that I switched it into being an early bird. And there's a reason behind that. And for me, I think what's more efficient is being an early bird. And I can tell you a lot about it, but what's your opinion?
This is going to be really interesting. I agree with your opinion. I agree with the fact that being an early bird is definitely the more efficient way to go. Can I say that I am one myself? No. I am a night owl in my true nature. But I understand how much more efficient it would be if I was able to be an early bird. And it's such a difficult transition when you've been in the cycle of being a night owl for so long. I mean, I think it attests to how much, I guess, easier it is in a way to be a night owl. A lot of creatives, whether you do music, if you're an artist, most artists find that they record better at night, whether that means that their voice sounds better at night, whether it means that they have more creative flow during nighttime, whether that means that they have more time at night to do the thing or project or record the music that they want to record. I find that so many creatives in different fields are night owls because when everybody else is sleeping is when we can zone in on our project or whatever we're doing. And I find that that's where I get the time to, not even in just a creative way, but just in general, like I'm the type of person where like 12 a.m. hits sometimes. That's where I get the spark of like, okay, I'm going to clean every inch of my house right now. Or I'm going to start this project and just go on a deep dive right now. Or I'm going to go in an editing hole right now. Because to me, it feels somewhat comforting that I have no distractions because the rest of the world is asleep. That's how I look at it. Now, is that the right way to function, to live your most productive, happy, fulfilled life? No, it's not. And I can definitely say for a fact that the phases of my life that I've been in, the brief phases where I have been able to get up early for consecutive days or weeks in a row and therefore go to bed earlier, I do feel better myself. And I feel like I am more of a capable human being to conduct myself during the day. So in that way, like, I agree with you, even though that's not what I do.
Okay, so I think where it stems all from for me is understanding how the human body works, right? So understanding that as much as work is important, rest is also like equally important, right?
Yes.
So how the body works is that you have these rhythmic cycles of sleep, right? Which is basically like it's always a 4-hour interval, right? So understanding why a lot of people say 8 hours is important isn't necessarily just because of that's the amount of time allocated for a normal person to function, but it's about these like rhythmic cycles of like being in a 4-hour interval, right? So let's say if you were to wake up in between that cycle, you notice that you feel groggy. You don't want to get up right? So that's why a lot of people say 8 hours is the minimum of amount of sleep that you should get, right? Other people are capable of function within 6 hours of sleep and even 4 hours, right? Because of how the cycle is. And there's certain different like sleeping patterns that you can do to actually get the 6 hours, right? And this is where you said it was interesting. When 12 o'clock hits, that's when you're the most productive. Did you know that the hours between 12 to 2, those amount of sleep hour counts as double?
It's actually, and it's funny that you say that because my mom has said this to me so many times in my life. It's actually 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
Yep. 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. are the most vital hours of sleep. And when you sleep at all during those hours, you're getting double.
Right.
Yep.
So where, like, let's say like I were to go to sleep at, let's say 11 o'clock, right? 11 o'clock and I wake up at 5 o'clock, right? Although I slept 6 hours, because of those hours counting as double, you already slept those 8 hours,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So me understanding that, I'm like, all right, my waking point is at 5 o'clock, right? So I'll wake up and the body is like a battery, right? Let's say the only way to charge your battery is actually getting a full out, like those hours of sleep, right? So when you wake up, you're at 100%. Afterwards, throughout your day, let's say and it's funny because like how our body works when it comes to energy is that the first 4 hours of you waking up is the most crucial for you to do work, right? So like with you making sure to allocate an hour to getting ready and stuff, and then the next hour is for you to actually start work, because by the time 9 o'clock hits, let's say you wake up at 5, by the time 9 o'clock hits, you're already at 60% like battery life, right? Then from 9 to 12, it depletes another 20%. So you're already at like 40% at
by
like
midday.
Literally not even midday, by the afternoon, which is 12 a.m., right? No, 12 p.m. Now it's vital to get rest, which is either like a power nap or like get lunch and like relax a little bit to recharge that battery. But the battery doesn't get recharged fully. It's only like, it only gets charged up to like 60% again, right? So those who keep putting off work end up suffering the most because of the fact that their energy has been depleted already from the beginning.
Yeah,
and that's
like
why
if
like
you don't start a project till 4 p.m.
Exactly.
Right.
And for me, like it was, I'm gonna go always back to architecture school because like I adopted this principle in architecture school, is that I would sleep from 10, wake up at 4 in the morning, go to school and actually get my work done before my first class, which was 8 a.m. Right. And a lot of people didn't appreciate that because they like architecture school, they adopt this thing where like you have to be a night owl, you have to like spend overnights to do your work. No, like why don't I get my rest so that when 4 o'clock hits, I can just go to school and actually get my work done. And literally
surprising to me that something like architecture, they would want you to conform to like something that they want in terms of a system of how to do
no,
things.
it's ridiculous. Like my professor used to tell me, oh, the only amount of hours you're like max hours you're supposed to be sleeping while you're in architecture school is 4 hours. Yeah, no,
that makes no sense.
It makes no sense, but like that's the problem when you're like following a template or following like a set of guidelines and rules
that have been handed down to you from the previous people.
Because of bitter.
Right.
Because here's the thing, architecture school is very subjective and very biased, right?
Yes.
So the people who, let's say, didn't do the work properly and have to stay late, they would pass that down as that's the standard, right?
Right.
But here's the thing, I don't adhere to the standard because I do whatever feels natural to me. And what feels natural to me is waking up early in the morning, getting my work done so I'm able to be productive for the rest of the day and be able to relax and actually enjoy the rest of the afternoon to actually like recuperate what I've worked on the morning. And that's why like a lot of people, if they know me, I don't do much during the day, but I still get work done because I've already like done it while they were sleeping.
Right.
So
Right.
it's for me, that's where like I feel like an early bird does get the worm, because like literally everyone's asleep while you're actually working. So by the time like everyone's up and working, you're like relaxing and being able to enjoy the actual weather outside. Because like if you really think about it, like most of our days, if you spend one sleeping in the morning and then getting up, everyone's already either going back to sleep or like basically everyone's working. So you don't really get to enjoy that much, right? For me, like I'm able to enjoy right after 12 p.m. I don't have to do much work. Yeah, I do get work done, like, but like it's more or less like it's just simple work of like make sure and answering emails or like doing the little work that doesn't take too much time. The projects that do take more time,
Time and energy.
I do it in the morning where I'm actually recuperating and being able to actually do stuff.
And to that point, you can still enjoy the weather outside, the beautiful day, and the beautiful environment or atmosphere that you're in. Like if you work from home, you could do like yesterday, I was sitting working outside. So you can still enjoy those morning hours, because I find that the thing that draws me most to becoming an early bird, and the thing that makes that in my head most appealing, absolutely, that's the word, is the fact that whenever I do wake up early, I absolutely love the morning. I love the stillness of the morning. I love the calmness that it brings with the world just
The
waking
calm
up
before the storm.
truthfully, before the hustle and bustle. I mean, we live in New Jersey. It's that is everything is just hustle, hustle, hustle. And everywhere we are, everybody's moving, at lightning speed, as fast as they possibly can. And I think it's amazing to wake up early enough to be able to appreciate those important things before you get started with your workday. And that's what makes me want to transition into being an early bird for sure. But It's so hard when you've built up this cycle for years and years and years of being a night owl. It's very hard to
It's
transition.
just about trying to transition slowly and trying to adapt it to a certain discipline that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So for me, I think what made it a lot easier too, and for me to understand why like being an early bird is actually not only beneficial but it's also essential in life, is that personally for me, in my own religion, we believe that the nighttime is meant for a specific type of creature while the daytime is meant for us as humans, right? And when I mean creatures, I don't necessarily mean demons and goblins and whatnot. I mean necessarily, like, for example, like creatures as in like night owls or nocturnal like animals. And like when, like, for example,
people who are made, or not people, creatures or entities or anything that's made to live at night, to thrive
live
at
night and thrive. Exactly. Like, I have no right being in their domain as versus they don't have any right to be in my domain, right? So it really comes down to that, and like knowing that, it's like truly like astounding. Like there is a certain time that we are as humans supposed to be awake, and that's where the benefits do come in afterwards, right? And not only that, did you know that working out in the morning, right, is way better than working out at night? Not as in like energy wise, but actually growth in muscle. So let's say like this, right? Let's say the ratio of you growing your muscle at night is 1-to-1, right? Now in the morning, it's actually 10 times fold.
I believe that 100%.
Because you have the most energy. Two, your body has already been in this resting phase. So while like, let's say throughout the day, while you're like working and stuff like that, you're already straining out your muscles.
Yes.
But not in the more like repetitive way where it builds that muscle, right? So let's say you work out during the afternoon, which is still relatively early. That dropped tremendously down to only double what you're going to get at night. So it really makes a big difference of when you actually start. So like there's so many benefits of actually being an early bird versus a night owl. But here's the thing. There's sometimes inspirations that I get at night that I don't get during the day. So it really comes down on what it is and what type of person you are, right? For me, like I prefer day over night.
I think it also depends on, what you value the most in terms of your own personal health. And as I get older, I value my sleep more and more. And I value the specific hours of sleep that I'm getting more and more. And you're right, like, and you know, as I get older, I'm also starting this fitness journey, this health journey, where I'm working out consistently for the first time in my life. And that has led me to really appreciate the benefits of working out first thing in the morning, and moving your body and getting your body going and exercising as soon as, you know, you wake up. It sets, not only is it important physically and for your muscles and everything, but it sets the tone for your entire day.
Right,
And when
right.
you
And
set your day up correctly, the rest of it is bound to
right,
go
and
well.
that's why they say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, not necessarily because it's the first meal, but it's when you actually have that meal.
Yes.
So literally between the hours between 5 a.m. to like 9 a.m., it's important to get like your macros down, like from your proteins to your fats to your carbs, because of the amount your body's going to, that's the energy your body's going to use to basically fuel you for the rest of the day, right?
Yep.
So let's say you're the type, like, and people say keto diets and all that stuff, they do have their points, and there are scientific like informations to back it up, like the research. But I truly find it for someone like me, where I need to keep fueling my body, right? I eat like a monster. So like for me, like that's why I try to eat as much in the morning, because one, it subdues my like
Hunger.
appetite
Yeah.
throughout the rest of the day, and I only need 2 meals, rather than if I like start eating after 10 a.m., I need 7 meals to actually like keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, I completely agree with that. And while I talk about these things, like I can't always practice what I'm preaching. I don't always practice what I preach, and I think that's an important message to put out there, is that it is an ebb and flow constantly of, you know, trying to shift your life in that positive direction, and then that it's okay to have a setback and not be completely consistent with it, as long as you get back up and try again.
it's okay to break the sort of mundane sort of life you built for yourself, just because, one, we are humans, we are imperfect. So the thing is, it's okay to have those sort of moments where you don't follow your actual routine, because it gives yourself like this humanistic value to you. Not only that, like you start to appreciate your routine even more. So like for example, like that whole workout regimen I built for myself, and I honestly like it. Like I was gonna only do it for 2 weeks, but then I ended up like adopting this sort of thing where it's like, because I don't have the opportunity, there are some weeks where like I'm not gonna be able to work out consistently. So what I've decided to do was the 2 week burnout, which is work out for every 2 weeks, 6 days a week, right? Working out everything, and then take a week break, and then restarting that cycle again. So that way, like my body has like a full week of recovery, but then has 2 weeks of like heavy lifting, exercising, and make sure that like my body is like sweating and like actually being able to maintain that sort of regimen. So that way, like I'm not always focusing on like at least getting 3 days a week every single week, because I feel like for me, like as like someone like me, like I need to either be on one cycle or not be on that cycle at all. And I feel like this kind of helps shift that balance, where like I'm perfect for 2 weeks and then imperfect for the next week, and then perfect for 2 weeks and then imperfect.
It allows that, like you said, that humanistic aspect to
that
your
growth
life.
And I realized that I
Yes.
retain my muscle mass a lot longer, and it's more constant than like going to the gym for 3 times a week and then going on a short break and then realizing
Right.
that didn't do anything for me.
Totally. Yeah. I completely agree with that now, starting on, like I said, this fitness journey and understanding what you're talking about, because last year I might have not understood anything you're talking about because I didn't know. And that's another really important part of it, is making sure that you make the most of the hours that you have and that you're given every single day. And that's part of, you know, wanting to transition into being an early bird.
So I think if there's anything to take from this like talk, it'd be three things. One is first figure out if you're a night owl or a early bird, right? My suggestion is to be an early bird, right? The second thing is to make sure that when you are awake is to make the most out of the time that you, like the first moments you wake up, to make those moments count in those first hours, because afterwards you'll need to like relax and eat and be what's it called, you need to regain your energy. And the third thing is make sure that you get enough sleep, because a lot of us as creators, we don't get that enough sleep because we're always on deadlines.
And getting the right amount of hours of sleep, the right time, like going to bed at the right time.
Going to bed to right time.
You can go to bed at like 1 a.m. and sleep till 10 a.m. and you're getting 9 hours. But are those 9 hours all hours of really deep, valuable sleep? No, they're not.
So it really, really depends on like those factors. And I think like if you like, if it's anything to get yourself on that like schedule, I think the best advice I've ever gotten was always improve your life by 1% rather than fixing it like 50 or 100%, because you'll notice that 1% a day in a year will equal to 365% of the time. So if it's like, for example, if you sleep at 1 a.m, try to sleep at 12:30.
Yes.
And try to bring it back slowly. If you haven't worked out a day in your life, work out for 10 minutes one day, and like keep improving that and building onto that, because you realize slowly like going cold turkey, works sometimes, but it ends up going back into a relapse. So like building yourself that burnout. Building yourself up slowly is really important. But
no, absolutely. When you I was going to say something and I completely lost my train of thought.
I think we can actually close it out.
I know. I just wanted to say one more thing. What were you talking about?
I was talking about 1% a day and cold turkey. And
okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, absolutely. Not setting unrealistic goals for yourself is the most important way to transition. And I can take my own advice on that. Like, set realistic goals so that you're able to actually accomplish them and check them off and motivate you to keep going.
I would say, just before we end this off, is to basically go off on that, is that write yourself a goal list, right? Like a complete goal list. And every day, try to attempt to like check that goal list. Whether it be on your phone, on your note, whether it be a piece of paper that you keep on your desk, whether it be something that you stick on the fridge, make sure that every day there's something that you scratch off of it so you're able to keep continuing and feel better about yourself. Because the whole point of this is to live your best life and be able to be the stronger you or the better you for tomorrow, rather than being the consistent you or being the worst you of the next day. That's not what we're trying to do.
Not at all. It's very important.
And with that being said, that's about it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to know when we do post. Also, the social media, Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook. And with that being said, videos on Kiera's face, video on my face to know what our past videos were. And yeah, that's about it. But early bird gets the worm.
Truly.
And the night owl gets the rat.
All right. And with that, we will see you guys in the next episode.
See you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.
Toodaloos.